Follow the drip. Follow the drip.
Are you one that likes to stand out amongst the rest? Well, check out Paint to Drip by The Joker. Paint to Drip is a customized footwear company that it specializes in unique hand-painted, customized footwear, which is hand-painted by The Joker himself. Shipping is available all over, East Coast, West Coast, no matter where you are, we can get your products to you. So follow The Drip. Check out their IG page, Painted Drip, for more information. And again, all footwear is customized and hand-painted by The Joker himself.
Joker, yeah.
Give me my roses while I'm here.
Give them fake.
Don't wait till I up and disappear. Oh no.
Facts.
Ahead of my time and it's clear.
Okay.
You still ain't noticed the dime in the gym. Oh no. I put my heart in it, better know that. The passion I have in every moment. This ain't for sure, y'all. I get my all to the last one fall.
Yeah.
Roses.
Been through the weather, been through the storm. Cold in Buffalo, these rhymes keeping me warm. 1974, hip hop was born. Facts. Zodiac, May 13th, I got home. Facts, of course. This first class, it's the market. It is 2017. That's when I got started. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. This is your boy, the Joker, the Overlook MC. Back for the vacuum here on Brag On Me podcast, season 2. Man, it's gonna be an off the chain conversation. Appreciate everybody tuned in. Before you guys do anything, make sure you go and click like and make sure you share and make sure you go ahead and do the things you do that makes the algorithm go crazy so everybody can know what's going on and what you're watching and what you like. You know what I'm saying? We definitely need that love, and we're going to get that love right back to you. Make sure you put in the comments where you're from, where you're at, you know what I mean? And put it in there. We're going to conversate with you and definitely show you a lot of love live and direct, man. You know, this is what we do all day. But definitely, we're going to get right into it. You know what I mean? We got a special guest on the Brag On Me podcast, man. We're going to brag on this brother right here, an amazing producer, man, out of Baltimore, doing what he's doing, man. Give it back to the community, you know what I'm saying? A music historian and making it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? This is my brother from another mother out there in the Beatz. You know what I'm saying? Donnie Darrango in the building. Y'all see him right there, man. What's going on with you? Yeah. You got you muted. Gotta get you off. I got right there. I got you, big dog.
Oh,
we hear you now. We hear you.
All right. What's up, brother?
How you been doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Chilling in the lab. You know what I'm saying? That's about it, bro.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We didn't have plenty of conversations behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One or twice. You know what I'm saying? Getting to know each other, man, and learning a lot of the things, man. Let people know a little bit about you, a small little bio about who you are, so they can have an idea of who is Donnie Darrango.
Okay. All right. Well, Donnie Darrango is a father, a brother, a music producer, CEO. I've been doing it for about more than 35 years. For real. Man. 4-Wheeler Music, you know, that's my label. Major League Beatz, that's the the studio name, you know, and man, just that's who I am. I am music.
Yes. Yes, you are. Definitely. My first question is, what do artists got to do, and what you look for in an artist if they hit you up as far as being part of the label or looking for a producer, looking for a writer? You know, what are the key points that you're looking for to be like, okay, I need to work with her, or I need to work with him, I need to work with this group, and I think that's fire.
All right. Well, first of all, I asked every artist that I ever worked with, what do you want from this? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? What is your end goal? You feel me? Mm-hmm. Because I put it in the aspect of my own life. Mm-hmm. You feel me? I found music when I was 13. Right. So, you know, and I never knew the lineage that laid with it, you feel me, within me for music. But I just had a natural talent for it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to school to do anything that I did. You feel me? It just came to me. So the thing was, this is all that I ever wanted to do. I've never had, I've never had an intentional plan B. I never really did. You feel me? I mean, plans B's were forced upon me. You feel me?
Right.
But to me, it was like, if and I've heard a lot of artists say this, for real, successful artists and CEOs, you know what I'm saying? I heard Jay-Z say this. You feel me? Who is one of my, man, I don't have no idols but God, for real, but he is, so inspirational to me, even though he's controversial. People, you know what I'm saying, especially people up in New York, you feel me? They know Jay more than anything, you know what I'm saying? And they say some feisty stuff with Jay and things like this. Hey, man, ain't nobody completely, whitewashed when it comes to this industry. You feel me? You can't please everybody. You got to make some hard decisions in this industry, and some people going to get hurt by it.
That's
you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you got to look out for you, bro. Ain't nobody going to look out for you. You feel me? I don't care what they say. Oh, yeah. But they only have so much power over your future. You have all the power over your future. You know what I'm saying? You have all the power.
That's right. That's right.
So
you do.
My thing is, you know what I'm saying? What do you want out of this? Do you want to reach the heights of, you know what I'm saying? You want one platinum record? And I've heard a lot of people say that, man, they only take one record. No, nigga. Ain't that you just gonna, no, you might have a hit record on your hand. For real, it's hot. You can't even touch the daggone thing because it's so hot, but you ain't got no money to back it. You feel me? You ain't got no money to back it. It takes at least 20 G's to break a single. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask anybody. I mean, anybody in the industry, for real. Anybody that knows, they know. 20 G's. Yeah. If you ain't got 20 G's, bro, you just made your mission 20 times more, difficult. You feel me? Because you don't have the money.
Yeah.
That's why you got to get out here. You got to hustle, bro.
Right. I'm just trying to break down artists in that 20 G's. You might have to push that single for like 5 years and invest in it till it get to that level that they want to go at, and it might adds up to 20 G's.
Right, definitely, because it's like, all right, when I learned about that, this was probably about 10 years ago when I learned that, because numbers change. You feel me? Situations change. I mean, there's still a thing called payola. Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we talk about industry, we being real. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people back in the 90s and the 80s, they knew it was out there. Nobody really talked about it. You feel me? So now it's like taboo. You feel me? It's like, oh no, it's a conspiracy and all that. No, nigga, it's payola out there.
That's right. That's fact.
I mean, you can have a DJ at a record. DJ at a radio station. You feel me? You hand them like $1,200 straight up. You gonna get some shit played, bro. You gonna get it played, but you gotta broker a deal. You feel me? If you broker a deal, then you got continuous play. You feel me? And the way that you do that is you have to have some kind of capital. You have to have a budget.
Yeah, you gotta have a budget in almost every single thing that we do in entertainment. Period. I don't care if you are a clothes designer.
Life, bro.
I don't care. Right. I don't care if you got a barbershop. I don't care if you got a restaurant. It's every lane that you're doing has a simple budget for everything to come together as one to move forward into whatever you got going on. And I think a lot of artists get that twisted because they think because the music is nice and they sound good and they talented, that's going to walk you in those doors, and that's not how it works. No. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure you experienced that to a lot of artists that came in your way, like because they talented, like they entitled to walk through these certain doors in this industry, and they want to see how it feels like, look like, but they want to put in the work. Let's tap into that.
Yeah. Look about that. Man, I've dealt with artists like that goes back to the first question you asked. The second thing that I asked them, the first thing is, what do you want out of it? Second thing is, do you have a budget? That's my second thing. I have 4 main questions that I use in order to figure out whether or not I want to work with an artist or not. Okay? Now, first is, what are you getting out of this? What do you want out of it? Second is, what's your budget? You feel me? Because I charge. Nobody comes in here for free. Not unless I'm working on one of my projects. If I'm working on one of my projects, and I might call one of my artist friends or something like, yo, I need a feature. Boom. All right, bet. What time? Blah, blah, blah. Boom. I'll send you the track. You know, I can send them the track. They just go ahead and record the track and send it back. You feel me? But a lot of times, a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? Some of them, they come up, you know what I'm saying, to the studio and everything. They get in here, they do their thing, you know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. And we're good. You feel me? I don't charge for that because that's mine. You feel me? But the thing is, now, I charge $75 an hour. You know what I mean? To come into my studio. I don't care what you're doing in the studio. If you want to rent the studio, $75 an hour. You feel me? With the engineer, which would be me. You feel me? And the engineer gets $150 per session. That's it. $75 an hour, $150 per session for me. You feel me? And that's it. Now, if you have your own, engineer, whatever have you, first of all, I'm gonna be in here throughout the whole session because I want to make sure I'm not shit straight. You feel me? And also, it's $75 a session. You feel me? $75 an hour. You know what I'm saying? For it, that's fine. I ain't got no problem with it. You know, you pay me my how many you want. You feel me? You put my down payment, 50% down payment, and boom. You know, we do it. You feel me? And that goes for like, say if you want recording done. You know, you want to come up and you want to do recording, right? You're not mastering in my studio, bro. You're not. You might do a pre-mix in the studio or whatever have you, but I know all my shit. How you gonna master in somebody else's studio when you don't know their shit? You feel me? You can't. Only I can master in here. You feel me? So yeah, you gonna charge you. I'm gonna charge you for my mastering services. You feel me? Mastering
that's a different price or the same price?
Yeah, that's the same price. Okay. Now mix, that's $75 per track. Okay, for mastering. Now for a mix, it's $150 because a mix is way more entailed than a master is. Okay, I have so many things. I could do a quick master. That's not a problem. But I can't do a quick master if I can't do a mix. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And my turnovers on a mix, on a quality radio quality mix, you know what I'm saying? It's 24 hours. 24 hours for that mix. You feel me? I don't make it too long, and I don't make it too, you know, I'm not going to give you your whole mix right there. I'll give you a pre-mix. You feel me? If you come in and you recording or whatever, and I'm doing your session, boom, I give you a pre-mix. You feel me? Something that you can, you know what I'm saying, you can bump to or whatever have you. You feel me? But also with that, you don't come in the studio, in my studio, without an NDA. Because you know what I'm saying, with the NDA is whatever projects that we working on, I'm working on for you. You feel me? I'm not going to say nothing about. I can't leak your stuff. You feel me? And you can't leak none of my stuff, especially if you're using my beats. No. So, you know, we come with an agreement. I have a contract. You feel me? I have a contract for everything, bro.
That's fire.
Nothing without a contract. You know what I mean? I don't care. Mixed contract. I have a mastering contract. I have a radio release contract. I have copyright contracts. I have royalty statements. I have everything that I could buy. I'm a label. So I have to have all of this stuff.
That's right.
So yeah, radio release, commercial release, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Placements, all types of stuff. You know, so I have over 100 and some odd, contracts.
That's fire.
And that's the thing. And when you come to me, I teach. I don't just, get you in the studio and what's name, record you and just send you on your way. I want to develop a relationship. If I'm going to choose you, that's the number 3. Number 3 is, I'm sorry. Number 1, what's your what do you want out of this? Number 2 is what's your budget? Number 3 is, what are you willing to do boot camp? Because I send every artist that I'm really serious about, I send them through boot camp. And basically what that is I make you do your research. I teach you. I give you the materials that you need to learn this business.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll give you that. That's, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to leave you empty-handed. You feel me? And just record. That's just me taking your money, bro. How can I build a relationship with you if I'm just taking your money and everything? Like, yeah, you get your finished product. Yeah, it's a business relationship. Yes. You feel me? But when you put that extra time in with that artist, you feel me? Then you develop a deeper relationship. That's where the loyalty comes in.
Right. Definitely. Right.
That's where the loyalty don't come with money, bro. Loyalty don't come with fuck money. I'm sorry. I'm not loyal to you over fucking money.
Right. Yeah.
What have you done for me?
I mean, that's part of it, but that's not the main thing.
Right.
That's
not the foundation.
Right.
You feel me? My loyalty, I build my loyalty off the foundation of longevity and what you bring to the table. You feel me? And how we've connected. You feel me?
Right.
I mean, and also me doing my research on you, finding out those who you with, you know what I'm saying? I want, for real, what's your people's like? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? I never know. I live in Baltimore. I've dealt with out of town acts. You feel me? Came in and they got stuck up here. So I had to contact their family. I got to do this, do that. I need to, you know what I'm saying? I take a personal interest when I like you and I like what you're doing. I believe in you. I take a personal interest in you. Feel me? I put more in to you than a normal person would.
Okay.
You feel me? I send you to boot camp. You're gonna do your research.
That's right.
You're gonna, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay out of your pocket for a lot of these things that's going on.
That's
right. You feel me? Videos, everything like that. You're gonna be learning. The thing is, while you're paying, you're learning. That's the whole thing. It's just like college, basically.
That's right.
Just like college. That's all you doing is just going through boot camp. That's college. You pay for that.
That's college. That's right. You paying for it. Right.
Why would you want to just pay for something and not learn about it? That's dumb. I mean,
that's right.
Now it's two different things when you're in business as a CEO. One thing is you can't do every single thing yourself. You can't. That's why you pay other people to do them. But a smart and wise CEO will learn how to do what needs to be done in any given situation and pay somebody else to do it and be able to look over their shoulder and know that they're doing it right. You feel me?
Right.
That's just like with accounting. A lot of celebrities, especially us, you feel me? They go with these accounting firms because they got a lot of money and everything like this. Learn some accounting first. Go to school a little bit. Learn how to run your own money, man. Learn how to, you know what I'm saying? Stop with the hood analogies about money and all this other stuff. Learn what to do the way the rich white people do it. And you emulate that.
That's right.
You feel me? And that way, boom, you hire a Jew to take care of your money, not to be, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the proper way. That's the proper way that runs the industry. They're the ones that run the movement, and you need that in your circle at all times.
You get yourself an old Jew. You feel me? If you got that type of money, you get yourself an old Jew, boom, and you give him your paperwork. And you let him know, look over this, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Now, these old Jews, honestly, for real, they don't look like they got no money. That's how they got their money. Because it's generational. You feel me? They believe in generational wealth. You feel me? They're not going to give you nothing that depreciate on your wedding. They're not going to do that. They're not going to buy a car. They're going to buy you a house. They'll give you a house. They'll give you a house. They'll give you money. They'll give you bonds. You feel me? Treasury bonds and stuff like that accrues in value the longer you keep them. You feel me? That's how they keep their money. That's how they got these communities, man.
Yeah, I mean, and they stick together too. They stick together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got another important question, real quick too. Is what is the how the answers? What is the best way for a label or a writer that don't sing, just a writer, to come to you to want to build and want to be a part of the label as a writer? What is the steps do they have to take?
Well, first of all, you gotta have a catalog.
Okay.
I can't hire you as a
break
writer.
Break down the catalog. What the catalog gotta look like?
The catalog has to have a list of the songs that you've already written and at least an audio catalog. You feel me? Okay. A list of songs that you've already written. You know, they don't have to be big songs. Nah, it's just songs that you wrote and you recorded. You feel me? And let me hear them. You know what I'm saying? And your consistency. How many have you done? How long have you been doing this? You know, is your stuff any good? That's why I gotta listen to it. You feel me? So yeah, that's basically what it is. I'm willing to give anybody a try. It's just, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I've dealt with 2 writers within the last 10 years. One of them, I actually had them on a track that I had did a few years ago. But I don't have that track anymore because some falling out came with me and my ex-partner. And yeah. But anyway, yeah, I dealt with 2 of them. And they were cool people. They could write their butts off. But the only thing is they were associated with somebody who I disassociated myself with. So I can't deal with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's, yeah, I ain't gonna get in there. But that's what you gotta have a catalog. And you know what I'm saying? It's gotta be diverse. It's gotta be diverse. You can't have like 10 songs of the same damn subject matter and you know what I'm saying? Nah, give me some different vibes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay. Now for that writer, do that writer have to be paperwork ready, far as like their ASCAP, their paperwork and things that they need? Do they have to have that already?
It would be a great thing if they were, because it lets me know that they're about their business.
Okay.
You feel me? That would be the ideal scenario. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people aren't. You know, a lot of people that write aren't. You know, it's just like a whole bunch of rappers out here. They leaving money on the table. You feel me? Because they just think that they're going to get paid from an artist standpoint. No, dude, you're the artist.
Yeah. A lot of money out there.
Come on, you get paid twice. You feel me? Not just once. You know what I mean? And you are an entity. You are an entity. Even as a writer, you are an entity. So get yourself an LLC. You feel me? Start your own thing, because that's your services. You feel me? Your goods and services are writing lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Songs. You know, that's what you do. So you should have an LLC. You should be signed up with BMI ASCAP. You feel me? CSAC. Everything that you can sign up for real. Because you never know. You could end up writing for a commercial or something like that. And if you're already hooked up with CSAC, you're good. You know what I'm saying? You can, it's like
CSAC one of the pros, right? One of the performing rights organizations.
CSAC is the one that, now you got BMI ASCAP. BMI and ASCAP is 2 totally different entities.
Right.
Okay. Now ASCAP is free now. It used to be they charge. You feel me? I think it was like $50 or something like that.
I think it was $50. Yep.
Yeah, but I went with what's BMI first.
Yeah, I'm in BMI. Yeah.
I went with them, so I've been with them for a long time, for years. And I just signed up with ASCAP, so I'm with BMI and ASCAP. Now CSAC is basically, they take care of all your mechanical royalties and stuff like that. Like if you get placements with commercials, movies, video games, you should know that, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know that.
Oh yeah.
They do. But BMI, they track all of your like your radio play, your clubs. You know, when you play in the clubs,
live performances and all that. Yep.
Exactly. So they do all of that, but it has to be a BMI ASCAP certified club, though. Not a lot of people know that. They just, oh yeah, we can go to this club so and do our show and we get paid. No, it's not gonna be like that, bro. I mean, certain clubs, like if you go to the Hard Rock Cafe, they are BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, everything. You feel me? That's the Hard Rock Cafe. You feel me?
You go to Live at the Apollo.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though that's a theater, you feel me? But that's BMI. You know what I'm saying? Because they do live performances there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Bands and everything like that. So they have to, get registered with them. So yeah, no doubt. So my next question on the writer side too is, do you think the writer should have different types of contracts like you do have, different contracts that you have for your label? Do you think they should have certain contracts too that that's negotiable
to the label, or do you rather work with a writer? Do y'all come together and put together our own contract? Y'all could have a hybrid contract, or y'all can negotiate together.
Okay, well, all of my contracts are, I wrote. You feel me? Based off of, legally the legal library. You know what I'm saying? Contracts. You feel me? I wrote all my contracts, and my contracts are signed, sealed, and they stamped. You feel me? At the time of signing with any artist. You feel me? So, but I always throw in some negotiation. I leave a lot of space. I leave all the numbers blank. Basically. You know what I'm saying? Because even though we have industry standards,
right?
You feel me? Like an artist standard right now, I think it's like 8 to 10%. No, 8 to 12%.
Right.
And royalties, you feel me? Which we call points.
Right.
8 to 12 points. And they might be different for a commercial. You know what I'm saying? If the writer wrote for a commercial, you feel me? You're not an artist, you're a writer.
Okay.
So you might get 3%. You know what I'm saying? But it's always the only way that you're going to be able to negotiate a contract as a writer is if you have to start off small. No negotiation. Take what you can get. You feel me? Get yourself in a position. Have the patience enough to get into a position to where as though, okay, you're out there. You know what I'm saying? Your work is out there. Then once your work is out there for a while, you know what I'm saying, and you're getting some work, and you say if you did like a Pepsi commercial, if you wrote for a Pepsi commercial, you feel me? That's a good thing to have on your resume. You know what I'm saying? That's good. But if you did a a little low budget commercial,
right. A local business or something.
Yeah, little local business commercial. Exactly. You feel me? You do a couple of them. You might need like 5 or 6 of them or whatever have you. You feel me? Boom. And depending on how they're tracking, you know what I'm saying? Everything is tracking. Every single thing. When you're dealing with this industry, everything is tracking.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So it's like if your commercial, now the Pepsi commercial will track a lot better than the other commercials.
Right. That's right. It's in a corporate way.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and it's reaching more people. You feel me? And it's catered to a whole separate genre of people.
That's right.
Because, we're talking about Pepsi drinkers. We're not talking about people who like cheesesteak subs.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, yeah, you can do it. They can intermingle because it's food. You feel me? But the thing is, that's bigger because it's Pepsi versus somebody that might have had $5,000 to give you to do this.
Right.
Then they got $10,000 to give you to do it. You feel me? It's different. Yeah.
Right.
And
one more thing. Yeah. One more good question before we bring. So we have Vet Green ask her question. How you feel about the threshold that happened in 2023 in the music industry, as far as the DSPs, and did that threshold affect you as being a producer and working with artists?
You talking about DSP threshold as far as like the audio?
The threshold, they had a threshold into like the streaming. They had a threshold into
publishing.
They had a threshold in the distribution companies.
All right.
And like they have so how did that affect you as putting out music and working with artists? Did that affect you as far as the threshold, as far as you making it, get the bag out of it or whatever? Did that affect you in a certain way? And if it did, how did what was the outcome?
Okay, well, I can tell you one particular story. This is about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I had put out an album called Beatz and Blunts. This was probably about almost 6 years before then.
Okay.
About 6 years before then. And I looked and I had gotten like, I'd say I got paid for almost 1 billion streams. I had about 2.3 billion streams.
Okay.
On this album.
Okay.
And it reminds me of what Snoop said.
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
right.
it hit me when he said it. I was like, wow, man. Now I gotta think back to this, man, when it happened to me.
Right.
I think I got like $1,200 off of that.
Yeah.
Off of 2.3 billion streams, not million, billion streams.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, me and Snoop got paid almost the same amount of money for almost the same amount of views. So it reiterated what I always knew about the industry.
That's it.
You know, and I'm like, yeah, it don't matter. I'm a small man. I'm like this compared to Snoop. You feel me? Like, come on, like we in the same industry, but the same thing that happens to me happens to him.
Yeah.
You feel me? So we ain't no different. We ain't no different. He just got more, more,
his fan base is so different.
Yeah. And everything, and he was with a label and all. I'm indie. I ain't got, what I'm saying?
That's right. And you should have got more than him because you was indie. You didn't have to repel nobody. You was independent DIYer in your whole situation.
Exactly.
And
but the thing is, you know why that is though? Because all streaming services do not pay the same. And also they CSAC, ASCAP, BMI, and everything, the whole coalition, the music coalition is getting together, and they've been fighting for us for the last 4 or 5 years now.
Especially BMI. BMI been pushing stronger than any pro that by my knowledge. I know they had a couple conferences last summer, and they had the one lawyer that has an amazing YouTube. Chrissy, I think her name is.
The chick. Yeah.
She was one of the main spokesmen for this event, and she broke it down like, she was talking about the thresholds too of what's going on, and when the thresholds really came into effect real strong in 2023, it was going into 24. That's when I dropped my album, and then I stopped pretty much marketing everything I was doing because I went straight to DIY. And with Razor Bar Entertainment with the label with Bars Vega. And I did good in them areas. But now, just recently, this week, I had my first check 3 days ago. Went in my account of my streaming without doing no marketing. So it's like, so I would just let it ride. You know what I mean? Like, listen,
that's what I do. I don't even look at it.
Yeah, but I kind of let my know when that check came in. I'm like, okay, I beat the threshold. Like I was shocked that I beat the threshold without doing no marketing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I got a little something check. I'm like, okay, it was kind of pretty too. It was kind of pretty, I won't say how much it was, but it was kind of pretty. I was shocked. Right. Okay, all right, then, music industry. Now I'm trying to say that I'm past the threshold now that I can release music on the DIY side, and I can release music on the DSPs now since I'm getting that. I'm off the threshold, and I thought it was like almost impossible to get out of that. I because of the system of Universal Records and was that BMG and BMG, and what's the other label? What's the other one? Sony,
Universal, Sony,
and, So the big three.
Big three.
Yeah. So I was like, I thought it was impossible for independent hip hop artists at that to bust through the threshold. I never tried to. Once that happened, I went straight to DIY. I went straight to did business with my partner, with the label, and I'm like, we gonna do this, man, and we gonna go ahead and get first hand. But I got my first check about 3 or 4 days ago, man. It was all right. It was all right. I was like, okay.
My first check, that was my first check from a drop. I just left. I never even looked at the account.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I never looked at the account. I just kept on making music, releasing, and doing my thing, and I'm like, all right, because from a hustler to a hustler, it's like, as long as I got some money somewhere, I ain't got to worry about it. You feel like I got residual income coming somewhere.
Yeah,
so whenever I get
keep that in your wallet.
Exactly.
Your wallet.
I'm like, whenever I get like low, and I'm, oh, snap, that's right. Got this over here. And that's what happened. And I looked and I'm like, oh, snap, okay. Use it well right now. I can use it. You feel me?
Yeah,
and it was a blessing at the time. So, you know what I'm saying? You can make money off of it, but
Yes,
your
but
grind.
yeah,
You know
I was just, and I wasn't even grinding
on that neither.
I wasn't grinding. I wasn't doing nothing. I just said, listen, I just got so frustrated of the threshing and what you got to do. You got to reach a certain amount of people following you. You got to get so many streams a week. You have to get so many.
And then you got to put more money into your marketing. You know what I'm saying?
All that.
And making sure like your IG, your Facebook, you're getting paid promotion. You feel me? And everything like
all that across the
that's
board.
Investment. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not going through the distribution side of things, but getting that first check let me know that I'm past the threshold, which is cool. And that's me not even doing any marketing. That was just off the strength of people just searching for me or me doing this podcast and they want to hear music and just off my basic things I've been doing regularly on the internet to push people through to the music and I got paid. So that let me know right there that your work ethic on this digital platform can work when you're doing other things and you got other lanes working this step, being an artist, being a producer, being a manager, and all that. So and that let me know that Joker man, you is definitely on your grind on your brand side, on my brand, not the music, but this is the brand side. So that was kind of dope right there. But we got Vet Green the Queen in.
Yes.
She definitely got some questions for you and all that. Go ahead and let loose. Well, we can't hear her though, but
you on mute.
Okay. Wait for a minute. But so definitely, so on the thresholds, I'm off the threshold now. So now I'm like, now I can definitely go both ways. I can go DIY on the website and I can still release music since I'm qualified to be out of the threshold through the distribution side, to the streaming side, to the all of that. So that's how this is the music business. You know what I mean? But let folks know about the music side of things, like we was talking about before with the audio, digital. Let people know the difference between, digital, analog.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So for those that don't know, how to like integrate, you see your producers. I'm gonna show you. You see producers with this equipment and stuff. You feel me? And see all of this rack gear and stuff like that, and you got the board. I mean, did something happen? Am I still up?
Yeah, I got you. That's me. Oh. Yeah. Nice to see.
But yeah, you got, this is the other side. This is me. This is my little mascot right there. My Funko Pop, Donnie Darrango Funko Pop. Yeah. Then I have Biggie.
Okay. Yes.
And Nip up there. And then this is my paperwork. They always show you paperwork, bro. Always show you paperwork in the studio, man, so people will know that's my son. And I got paperwork back there. Then I got Jay. You feel me? I'm a businessman. So and of course, drum machine. Turntable. Regular stuff. Interface. Yeah, this is my stuff for my what's the name? My headphones. That's my headphone amp, and this is another monitor. So this is my monitor control. Yeah, but anyway, so what I was saying to answer your question is basically all of this stuff right here. This is all analog. Okay, this is all analog stuff. All right, even this is analog. You feel me? Now, because I'm running all of this stuff right here. This is going into here. My mic right here. Okay, this is going into here. All right. Anything that I want plugged up, my phone can get plugged up in here. You know what I mean? I got Alexa and everything plugged up in here because they're analog. Okay, so that hooks from here out. Okay, from the mixer out to the digital interface, okay, which turns
so that analog to digital, right?
Right. This is basically it's a DA. It's a DA converter, digital analog converter. Okay. So, and then this goes out here via USB to my computer. Okay. And that's how I get, like, say if I wanted to hold on a second. Let me show you. Show you this.
So everything that goes into the to the interface goes to the computer, and that same board copies on the digital side and the analog side, correct?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's just basically everything that's going in here goes in here. From here, it transforms it to something that this can read, and that's it. That's basically so you can work in your computer with everything that's out here. So yeah, that's basically what that does. So
that looks so intimidating.
Believe me, it's not. It's only as intimidating as you let it be, for real.
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
Yeah, it gets the anxiety kicks in. Like if you don't know anything, that's when anxiety kicks in. But once you know like two basic things that that work of any type of digital device, that takes the anxiety down to learn more. And that's from my experience. Like me doing the camera work and everything, like I never really worked. I had this camera for like 3 or 4 years. My wife always worked with it. I never really knew how to do certain things. I just know how to take pictures. I didn't know how to use like the camera on a different level. I didn't know how to use the different things on the camera. Jen, just for an example. So once I know how to do like 2 or 3 basic things that I know works, then everything else falls into place. Like, okay, now you can do this, and you can use this for this, and this to take the picture before you do the video to do this, and you can hit the click button to take a picture. That's for your autofocus for your video. So it's like everything comes in hands and all that. That's similar to with you. What you did, you went to school for it. So did they go step by step on the analog side, or did they go straight to the digital?
Bro, I told you, I didn't go to school for this.
I said, okay, well,
this comes from experience, bro.
Okay. Hands on.
My school was hard knocks. You feel me? That's my school. Experience was my school.
Right.
So that was my thing, and like I said, man, it was just, when you're destined to do something, when you constantly end up in spaces for you to learn about what it is you love. That's when you know you're destined to do something. Because I was always in some form of fashion in some kind of a creative space to where as though somebody was able to teach me something. I was associated with somebody who knew somebody, or these people did exactly what I did. You feel me? So, throughout life, I've always ended up in those types of situations, So from being homeless and just being hooked up with this dude who was, who was a music producer by the person I got a job from, and having to live in the attic, you know what I'm saying? And the dude, liking me enough to say, you know what, I'm moving out of my place. I'm moving into the studio so you can stay at the studio with me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to tell you, I could write a book on my life. And
it's a perfect segue, not to interrupt you, but I do want to ask you, how did growing up in Baltimore shape what it is that you are doing right now, from the sounds, the sights, the culture? How did it kind of shape what it is that you're doing right now?
Well, it's just basically music has always been my soundtrack. Always. I can't. I'm serious. It's like a lot of people say that, but no, this is on a whole different level for real. I used to eat, sleep, and I mean, I used to eat, sleep, and breathe music. That's all I ever did. That's all I ever wanted to do. I had blinders on. You feel me? This was my life, and I would not, nobody could tell me nothing. My grandmother used to get on me. My godfather used to, come on, boy, let's go build this house. Let's do this. Let's do that. Shoot, you need a backup. I didn't want no backup. Because at that point in my life, I was like, look, if I bring in a backup, then that leaves the door open for me to fail. Because I have something to, fall back on. No, if I'm going to do something, at that time in my life, I had it on my mind. I said, I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
nothing else matters but my music. Every single thing is a means to an end. Mm-hmm. That's the way I thought, and I still think that. But everything that I do is a means to an end, and my end was music.
I heard you, as I was getting prepared, I heard you mention earlier, what I gather is a non-negotiable for you. It's no matter what, this is my dream, this is who I am, and this is what I'm working towards.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
When did that realization come to you? Has it always been there? I was listening, but I was wondering, has it always been there? So for me, I didn't know that this is what I wanted to do. It took, and for a lot of people, it takes trauma or something like that to realize what it is that you want to do. But for some people, I knew I wanted to be a cop when I was 5 years old, and that's what I've been working towards. Has that kind of been what music has been for you?
Yeah. There was a pivotal point though. Mm-hmm. It was like, I just had a natural thing for music. It was like, I of course we all grew up with music. But the thing is, when I was about 5 years, when I was 5, my dad died. And he could have been the integral part at that time, but I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. So I didn't find out until I had already began my journey. I didn't find out who he was and what kind of impact that was going to have on me, because he, just to let you know, he was a percussionist for the Persuaders. He co-wrote Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Oh wow!
Yeah. But the song they wrote the song the year I was born, in 74. Mm-hmm. Didn't come out until 78, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he never got any residuals, and name wasn't up on there, nothing like that, because they didn't do that back then. You feel me? They did, they did the writers, they did the, but they didn't like break it down who did what, like percussion, such. Some of them did, but a lot of them didn't. You know what I'm saying? Because it added up to more space on the actual album, and also there was the royalty thing. You know what I'm saying? So of course they was trying to keep all the royalties to themselves, so they wouldn't, have to pay the artists and all this other stuff and everything. So yeah, my father went through all of that, and he left the industry. My mom, she got pregnant with me, and he left. He was like, look, I got a son. I got, I can't be, doing all of this session playing. You know what I'm saying? He was a session player. So, he worked with a lot of bands that came through Baltimore and DC. You feel me? He worked with James. He worked with, as they came through, and because they had a lot of studios here in Baltimore. Not a lot of people know. Back in the 60s, they had a ton of studios here in Baltimore. And even James Brown had one when he had the radio station down on Pennsylvania Avenue. It was a studio in the back of the radio station. You know what I'm saying? So my dad used to play there every now and again. When he used to go to the Arc Social Club. That's a big place here. And all of the bands came through there, and he would be right there playing, sitting in something like that. So I didn't know that until I turned in my 20s. I had to be about 26, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I found that out. And it was wild how I found it out, because I didn't even find out in here. I found it out when I was in Pennsylvania. I was in Harrisburg. I was living in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I was with a girl at the time. And I took her out on a date for Mother's Day. And the Persuader was playing. I was like, all right, cool. Go ahead, a little dancing, live show, yeah. Think I'm doing something, right? We got the front table, you feel me? We right beside it, And they singing, we eating, having a good time, enjoying the show. And Lee keep on looking down at keep on looking down at me, thinking, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? This Mother's Day, I want to show my baby. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he gets down and he gives my lady the rose and everything like this and everything. And I'm sitting up there like, yeah, that's what's up. Man, after the show, dude, I went out and get an autograph. I said, let me get an autograph real quick. And he said, man, you look familiar. What are you talking about? He's like, you haven't been seeing the way I've been looking at you the whole show, bro. I think I know you from somewhere. I was like, you can't know me from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? He an older dude, old cat. You feel me? I'm like, I don't know you. You feel me? He was like, what's your father's name? And I wouldn't tell him my father's name.
Did you know at that time? Did you know his name?
Yeah. Knew about my father. Yeah, knew about him. I mean, I was with him for 5 years.
Okay.
You know, until he passed away.
Okay.
But the thing is, a lot of information about him, I didn't know because it happened before he came along. You feel me? In the 60s and the 50s. Now I knew he was a percussionist. My uncles told me that. You know, he liked to play bongos and stuff, and drums and stuff. But you know, I didn't know to the extent which it went. You feel me? Because my dad was a loner. He was the oldest of all his little brothers and sisters. So everything, when he stepped off the step, they was just kids. You feel me? They was little ones. They couldn't step off the step. You feel me? So he went out there. He was, you know, he grew up in DC, Southeast DC. And he was playing with a lot of bands in their come up. You know what I'm saying? So when the Persuaders was coming up, you know, Sly and the Family Stone, you feel me? When they would come to DC and, you know, do shows and stuff, he would play with them. You know, he was a second player.
Yeah, one of my favorite bands of all times.
Yeah, one of mine too. You know?
So,
yeah, and he told me, he was like, your father named Peanut. And I was like, you know my father name. I don't know you, bro. How you know my father name? So he was like, come on in the back. So me and my girl, we went in the back. And, you know, backstage and everything's chilling with the Persuaders. I'm like, hey. She don't know how big this is. You feel me? She don't know. You know, she not into it like I am. You know, but yeah. So I'm like, yeah. So we talking and he telling me all types of stories about my dad and everything, like how he used to get drunk and how they all used to, you know what I'm saying, get drunk and play all night long and, you know, just good old stories, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, I didn't know. And that was when, that was it. You know, it was like, if I could not give up what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Once we find out that's what I was saying before about the beginning. Everything, and that just proved it. What I believe in and what I always tell people. We had that conversation before the show about learning the beginnings. You know what I'm saying? Being, honoring the beginnings and having pride in our beginnings. You feel me? As a Black people. You feel me? And that's the thing. That was my beginning. I didn't even know that was my beginning. But it was. That's where I came from. I came from that man in the 50s and the 60s. You feel me? Him loving what he did so much that I was destined to follow his path. Didn't know how far I was going to get, but I didn't even know. So
it sounds like that was one of those moments where you were able to get a little clarity about who you are.
Yeah,
is
definitely. It was one of my most defined. It was in my career. That was the defining moment in my career. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I would say in my life too, because like I said, I grew up without him. You know, I had a godfather who was he was a construction worker. You know what I'm saying? He had his own construction business. You know, so, you know, I learned construction, homes, buildings, all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Throughout my life. And that was supposed to be my plan B. But that's not where my heart was. And that frustrated him. You feel me? And, you know, he just said, all right. You know what I'm saying? Just holler at me when, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know. So, you know, I mean, me and him, that's my dad. I love him to death. That's my dad. You feel me? It's the only one I really knew. You feel me? So, yeah. But the thing is, my birth father, the one that I didn't have, you know, after the age of 5, had the most impact on me. That's the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even know it. You know, he impacted me at 13 years old. I didn't know. I just knew I had this natural thing. You feel me? And I used to hold his bongos. My uncle used to let me play with his bongos, and I would play on his bongos, you know, and that was it. That's the only thing I knew about my dad. And from there, it just grew, you know, it just grew. So, yeah.
It's amazing how. Oh, go ahead, Joker.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that. That's a major story. That's a perfect story for like a Father's Day movement. That's for sure. Some inspiration. That's dope. You know, you got a question for him, Becky?
Yeah, I do. So you've been in the game for over 30 years, and I also heard you mention about Plan B, which I think is great. Like you make it non-negotiable, where like I'm not turning back regardless of what. I may hit this roadblock, but I'm not turning back. I want to ask you, what's been the biggest lesson you've learned about staying relevant, especially in these times? I had spoke to you about AI and all of that. How do you stay true to what Donnie loves and what you would like to hear and not get so caught up?
Oh, that's easy.
What's going on?
That's an easy one. I just basically I stick to my core. That's it. I stay true to myself. That's first and foremost. You know, I'm an 80s baby. You feel me? I was born in the 70s, was raised in the 80s, in the 90s, actually. You know what I'm saying? So I came up at the perfect time. You feel me? To witness the birth of hip hop. Matter of fact, I was born the year hip hop was invented.
That's
right.
Born
in 74.
Me too.
Okay. So, and it was in May of 74. Okay. Now,
wow.
The thing is, when we had a transition from from groups like Grandmaster Jay, you know, and groups like that, you know, there was only probably 3 major groups that was really out like that.
That's right.
Then.
That's right.
You feel me?
Right.
They had a ton of crews now. They had a ton of crews, especially up in New York, man. Y'all crews up there. Yeah, y'all had them rap crews, boy, and we had the B-boys. You feel me? And the culmination of hip hop when it was born. You feel me? Who did it? African Bambaataa. You feel me? I would give it to him. You know what I mean, as the godfather of hip hop, for real. You know what I'm saying? Who culminated all of those.
Yeah,
came up with the gumbo that we call hip hop. You feel me?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and the thing is, once that happened, then we had the transformation of that to the Kumo D and LL era. You feel me? From that era. And everything in between that. You feel me? From that, because there was I would call them landmarks in time. Okay. Kumo D, Jam Master J, Kumo D. Now I might not, that's not who I'm stamping as the person who made that, but in that era, you know what I'm saying?
They in the gumbo. They're in the gumbo.
Oh yeah. They in the gumbo. You feel me?
Yeah.
This is not definitive as far as the names, but we're in the, So and next you jump to, cannabis. Cannabis, and that's during the time of what's name was coming up? When you was dealing with the groups. You had Trends of Culture. You had actually that was before cannabis, for real. That was right after Das Effect. Das Effects.
Early 90s.
Early 90s, man. You know what I'm saying? The early 90s. Then you had 96. You had 96. That's when you really came in with shoot, man. I'm thinking God, man, there's so many.
I can't even think of the sound in the mid 90s because I feel like that's when it started to drastically change.
Yeah,
like
it did.
It
definitely started to drastically change
out
back then.
Then we were more on TV more too because BET was grabbing on to different links of things that we were doing, and it was more TV got more mainstream, but the underground was still solid.
True,
underground wasn't dead, so people were still gravitating to what was going on the street music wise.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, see, like my crew I was with in Lackawanna, Pat Crew, we was like one of the main underground groups coming out of the Steel City outside of Buffalo. So, so it was the underground still was very solid, even though a lot of the stuff was on the radio, was on MTV, was on VH1 and these other major platforms on TV. But you go to those corner bar in your local area and hear something totally new that was spark your spirit, like, okay, that female hot, that group is hot. Like, you know what I mean? You follow that. That's one thing I did like about the culture of hip hop. It was in every different era of your life. But everybody, people wasn't focusing on one thing like they do now. Like we just focusing on the whole culture, the whole movement.
Right.
That's
definitely, because it wasn't, oh, Drake is this and and you only had two major artists like that's battling like that. No, dude, when we battled back in the day, that was a battle, bro.
That was a real battle.
Yes, that was war back then. And the thing was, it didn't always spill over to the streets now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody kept it respect. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't mention nobody's mama. We wouldn't, and we wouldn't, mention nobody's kids. We wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? It was
guess what? We didn't even rap in front of the elder. The elders come out. He go, Uncle Bill. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. We didn't beat the pop in front of the elders. We represent them.
But now it's like it goes back to what we was talking about as far as learning from the beginning, the everything that's going on today.
Yes.
And especially, in the last couple of years where they're talking about old school hip hop artists. You know what I'm saying? These younger ones coming up and everything, they don't have respect. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, I mean, people say it, but you don't really understand. There would be no you if it wasn't for them.
That's right.
That's the whole thing. It's like hip hop is your mama.
Yes.
Hip hop is your mama. For real.
Hip hop is your mama and rap is your father.
Exactly. Exactly. You came out that, bro. You came out that gushy. I'm sorry, you came out that gushy because for real, that's been gushy for about 50 years. You feel me?
I want to before, because I know we're already past our hour, but I do want to, if you have the time to answer just a few more questions, especially as it relates to AI. I kind of asked the question, but I want to go back to it because more and more I'm being offered AI music as my musical selections. Some of it I think is because the motivational music that I like to listen to. But what are your thoughts? And I had this conversation with one of my daughters earlier. For me, when I think about AI and what I've seen people do with it. So there's an artist, Rooms to Breathe, that she took her journal. She's a writer. And she took her vocals, but used AI to enhance it, sort of like auto-tune. So my question is, what are your thoughts on AI in the music industry? And do you see it as a threat or as an additional tool that people can use if used properly?
Well, I think it can be used properly. I think that the intent for AI is to help, help get out songs more faster, help you get bleep. When you see me, I suffer, I have ADD. I get beat blocked real quick. You feel me? And it's hard for me to like concentrate sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And AI really helps with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll get bored trying to come up, because I don't play piano, I play by ear. So, I don't know chords and progressions and all this other stuff. So if I hear something and, I'm a sample-based producer. So that's why I do what I do. I do boom bap and hip, original hip hop from the 90s and the 80s, you feel me? Because I love sampling. I love the idea of taking something that was already there and just making it something totally different, you feel me? Starting on the origins and just improving or making it a little bit more diverse. To reach a more modern audience, So if somebody don't want to listen to James Brown Get Down, that, that's 21 years old. You feel me? So I say, all right, no problem. Boom, boom, get down. I'll jazz it up. You feel me? And give it a more. And I've done that. One of my albums, I have that on it. So, and everybody that heard it loved it. So it's like, yeah. AI, I think it's a tool. That's the original intent as a tool to help, and that's the way I use it. I separate stems. That's AI. I use AI to do that. I come up with samples from AI. I go online and I'll use a couple of apps, and and it'll give me a couple of suggestions for loops or whatever, and I use them and just dissect them and chop them up and put my own keys and my own thing. That's the main thing that, that I think, as long as AI is used correctly, the way it's supposed to be and intended, it can be a beautiful thing. You use AI as a tool so it can lay a canvas, basically the blank canvas. You feel me? It can be a bass line, or it can be if you're a singer and you need to type in some words and just to see how AI can make it go with, in tune with the music that's playing or whatever have you. And, help come up with some lyrics and stuff like that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Especially when you don't have to pay AI to do it. You feel me? Every time you get something from it, you could pay a monthly fee of like $10 a month in order to use it unlimited. You feel me? To do the same thing over and over again, and you ain't got to pay it per. Just like you got to pay somebody per. Come on, that's keeping money in your pocket. You feel me? And it ain't hurting nobody. It's not hurting anybody. It's not taking nobody royalties or nothing. You feel me?
Right.
So yeah.
That's
and it's crazy you saying that because I'm working with a writer right now. That's why I ask a lot of questions on writing. And I noticed that what she does is she goes to a program and she writes, but they're singing her lyrics. So companies and labels like yourself can hear her catalog of how she wrote it, because she got to actually write it how it's sung, so AI can sing it. So that's dope. That blew my mind. She did that in front of me. I'm like, what?
Does she read music?
I don't think
if she reads music, then she would have to play the main notes. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
the leads.
Right. What she do is
and put them in the place of the words. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, something like that.
Right. Well, AI. Well, when she sings it in a way, AI tunes that in for her. When she writes it, how she sings it.
Oh, okay.
Understand? So you pretty much let AI know step by step on each word she writes. And that's a lot of work. I'm like, the end is dope. Yeah. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I said, you still creating, but you having a coach. AI is pretty much your coach correcting certain things that you're doing. Yeah, that's fire. That's the most fire thing ever. Yeah.
That's just like what I was using. They have this thing called Ripcord, right? And it basically gives you chord progressions. It generates chord progressions.
I seen that. I think I
you give it a root note. Say if I wanted a root note of C, and I wanted it to build some chords off of that root note. Like, say if I do something like this or something like that, it'll come and it'll just, it'll fill in just based on that one.
Right.
And give it a tempo and tell it what.
You get the beat per minute, that you know the beat per minute, that you know the breakdown timing.
Give it a
I think that's fine.
Man.
I don't know why people get mad at that. I think that's the best thing to know exactly how, especially as a writer. And she don't sing, but she just, that helps out the writer point. And that's why I love what Timbaland doing with the Suno program, and that's what he does when he writes the music. That is the most firest thing ever for a chance to get your catalog.
Suno.
That is
I like
fire.
Suno, man. Suno is cool with me. I ain't got no problem with Suno.
No
I tried it one time, but I never, you know what I'm saying? Because right now it's like I got I use shoot. Why can't I remember the day?
What is Suno? I'm not familiar with
Suno
that.
is an AI program that help you write songs.
Oh.
Yeah, it help you. Like if you write a song and you don't have it set in song form, but you wrote the lyrics, it'll help you put it in song form with a certain tempo that you want. You could tell AI like what she did. This is what she did. You know what I'm saying? One of my clients, she put in AI. Oh, this is a soulful R&B Afrobeats song, and then she'll write the hook. She'll put the hook in, but then she'll leave a space to give it some room to let AI fill in what can fit in there, and then she'll write another 2 lines, then skip 2 lines, then end it with another line. AI will break it down and say she says some butterfly love, and they say, ooh, butterfly love when you fly in the sky. Ooh, and it does that for you in those spaces.
Yeah. It's like I use arcade. Output arcade, right? Yeah. Now I use that to help me make songs. Make beats and stuff like that, right? So what'll happen is I'll give it a key, I'll give it a tempo, and I give it a genre, right? And it'll generate a whole bunch of things. You feel me? Different, things. Right. And then it even breaks down to where as though I'll say, all right, if it'll have a list, trumpet, all of the instruments that you could possibly find, it'll have a list. And all you gotta do is just click on it and just basically make all your selections, what type of, and it'll break down to you, and boom, it'll show up, and it will generate off of what you pick, and it'll generate the rest of it. Like, oh man, this is hard. This is hard.
That's fire.
I love it. I love it.
You know what? Because back in the day in analog, when I used to go to Select Sound Studios in Buffalo back in the day, and I used to see people going in there talking with the producers and engineers, you actually have to pay for that.
Yeah.
And with AI, you have to pay for anybody that you wrote and you want to arrange it to a song form to where they'll help type it, write it, put it in song form. That I mean, back in the day, that's $150. That's $150 an hour,
right?
Back in the day,
that's a lot of work, and even more money if you knew how to read music and write music. Yeah, because you had to sit up there and write the note sheets.
And you know what? That's why Quincy Jones was so successful, because I think he was one of the first black men to actually read and compose music, and and there wasn't too many black people that can do that back then. Yeah.
Well, Donnie, I know we've been keeping you for a while. I don't have anything left. I have to jump off myself. I just want to say thank you. And I would love to have you back again, because I feel like the conversation is not over. As I was getting ready, I was overhearing some things that you were teaching. And there's a few more questions, especially as you guys got into mixing and mastering. If we can bring you back, I'd love for you to talk more into that, because I listen to music a lot. People send me music a lot. And I've learned that a lot of times it sounds like they're just recording it on their phone and just sending it over to me. And it drives me crazy, because there's so many people out here that's talented, but they're not taking the time to do just that, the mixing and mastering. So I would love to bring you back for part 2 of Brag on Me, and to teach us some things, because I like you had said, again, I feel that even with technology, people are taking advantage of it, as they should, but you need to know the start. You need to know where this stuff derives from, and it's just being lost. Artist development is another thing. It's just not going on anymore, so Donnie, I want to thank you. I'm going to go ahead and hop off, let Joker finish this up. Thank you everybody for watching Brag on Me, and season 2 episode 1. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, And we will be back again. See y'all when we see y'all.
Yeah. I have no more questions. We had a good time, and thank you for being on the platform. Y'all go ahead and follow him on IG right there on the screen, man. At Donnie.Darrango on IG. Make sure you go in his DM. Make sure you don't slide in the DM. Go in his DM and make sure you ask him good, amazing questions. Get involved and all that. Don't slide in the DM because he got a wife. Don't slide. don't slide. We want you to slide. When you go in the DM and ask him serious requires only. You know what I mean? And he'll definitely. Yo, no. Wife, you don't play no games. You don't want no smoke. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you being on the Brag on Me podcast season 2. Episode 1, man. Any more shout outs?
Yeah, what would you like to what message would you give the next generation of Black producers coming up behind you, Donnie?
Learn the craft. That's about it. Learn the craft, man. Don't just go in the last 20 years. Don't learn from just the last 20 years as long as you know. You feel me? As long as you've been born. No. Learn from the original. Learn from the masters. Because the people that you are learning from, that you know about, that you see today, was around 20 years ago when you was born. They're not the masters. They're not. They're still students. They learn from the people that came before them. People that came 50 years ago. You feel me? That's who you need to be studying. Learn real musicianship. Studio etiquette, how to act. Man, you see them daggone shows and everything like Eddie Kane and all that other stuff.
Oh, man.
Studio and everything like that. That's the wrong thing to do. You feel me? All right, so see what happened to them. Learn.
Yeah.
Learn a lesson.
Yes.
That's about it, man. I got it.
Yeah. No doubt, man. I appreciate y'all. No doubt.
Thank you for being here.
All right, thanks for having me. Y'all rocking that joint.
Are you one that likes to stand out amongst the rest? Well, check out Paint to Drip by The Joker. Paint to Drip is a customized footwear company that specializes in unique hand-painted, customized footwear, which is hand-painted by The Joker himself. Shipping is available all over, East Coast, West Coast, no matter where you are, we can get your products to you. Go follow The Drip. Check out their IG page, Painted Drip, for more information. And again, all footwear is customized and hand-painted by The Joker himself.